Let's talk too good, too bad, too ugly, and two great things that we saw from the New York Jets versus the Buffalo Bills.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today, before we hop into today's video, a couple of quick announcements. Guys, in the description of every video are links to the Patreon, my Twitter, my merch, and everything else is all in the description. While you're down there, if you want to, hit the sub button to get all of the new Talking Jets with Tigo content. Hit the notification bell to be notified the moment it goes live, or go and drop a comment and follow me on Twitter because I tweet out whenever a new video goes up, and I respond to every comment left on every video, or at least I try to. But let's stop wasting time right into today's video. We're going to talk about two good, great, bad, ugly, horrible things, and then everything that we saw from this game, and then we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to start doing bye-week content. I'm really excited for the bye week. We're going to do a half-season review, all of that stuff, but let's hop into today's video. Let's talk about the first good thing that we saw from the New York Jets game, and I'm going to have to say it was Zach Wilson and this offensive line. I'm partnering those two together because they go together so well, and I'm also going to partner offensive line with the second good thing as well, but we're going to get to that later. Zach Wilson, obviously, this is 3 or 4 or 5 videos I'm talking about it where Zach Wilson had an incredibly good game. This is one of his best games as a pro. He was incredibly efficient, 18 of 25. That's a 72% completion percentage. One through the air touchdown, no interceptions. Just absolutely fantastic. 101 quarterback rating. 76.4 QBR. He just did his job quickly and efficiently, and, he was a big reason we won that game. And the O-line did an incredible job of protecting him. He had 2 sacks all game. And to take into consideration that the Buffalo Bills defensive line is one of the best defensive line units in the NFL, Von Miller is a perennial Pro Bowler. And for us to only allow 2 sacks, and then to my second good thing from this game was Michael Carter. I had made a video literally the day before the game, I think, talking about it almost seemed like Michael Carter had lost a step. It almost seemed like it wasn't the same Michael Carter of old, and something was off. And you could tell that it was this offensive line not being able to play at the level that we know that they can play at. We got incredible performances from all of the guys on the offensive line, and they were so good in the run game that we saw Michael Carter, 12 carries, 76 yards, 6.3 yards averaging per carry, a red zone touchdown where he just walked it right in, a 25-yard as his longest run. For me, Michael Carter's perfect run that game was when he beats the corner to the edge and turns upfield and just breaks that off. And if Obehi was a little bit faster, I think that goes to the house, in my opinion. But absolutely fantastic stuff, and the offensive line needs to be credited for both 1 and 2, Zach Wilson and Michael Carter, because the offensive line did an incredibly good job creating push in the run game and creating push for these running backs, not just Michael Carter. He was just by far and away the best one we had on the field, but also giving Zach time to step in the pocket and make these throws and make these decisive throws. A great example of that was that pass to Denzel Mims on the outside where Denzel Mims couldn't get to it, and it unfortunately hit the floor, and that counted as an incomplete pass. Zach Wilson had almost all the time in the world. He was in that pocket against that pass rush, and he just sat there, and you could see what Zach Wilson can do in a clean pocket. He put that ball in the only place that Denzel Mims could go get it. He was just a little bit out there, and Denzel Mims didn't bring it in, but that's not saying anything bad about Denzel. He had a great game as well. But let's talk about the bad and the ugly. Guys, I had a really hard time finding bad and ugly things to talk about, but here are what I came up with. The first bad thing was the lack of target share in the receiving game. It was by far and away the Garrett Wilson show. He had 9 targets and 8 receptions. The closest person was Denzel Mims with 4 targets and 1 reception for 12 yards. That was that third down conversion in the red zone. Was the only other person that got anywhere close to Garrett Wilson. I understand that Garrett Wilson is an insanely good wide receiver, but we don't want to run into the pigeonhole of our offense is Zach Wilson to Garrett Wilson, because if Garrett Wilson gets eliminated from the game, I don't want us to be uncomfortable throwing the ball to the other pass catchers that we have. I understand what we're doing with Elijah Moore and using him as a decoy and kind of keeping him in the doghouse, but that doesn't change the fact that we've got Tyler Conklin, we've got CJ Uzama, we've got Braxton Berrios, we've got James Robinson, and like there's other pass catchers on there. I didn't like necessarily that we really highlighted Garrett Wilson and only Garrett Wilson. I'd love to see a little bit more target share in the play calling. But that being said, Garrett Wilson is that dude. Buffalo Jet fans said this, and I'm going to reiterate it. It was really hard not to really compare Garrett Wilson and Stephon Diggs when they were on the same field. They looked so similar. And if you're telling me that Garrett Wilson can become Stephon Diggs, sign me up. And then the second bad thing has to be Braden Mann and how he's starting games. Braden Mann has had 2 back-to-back games with like a muffed punt or a muffed start or something along those lines. And it's a little bit worrying. I know that the first muff punt was, I get that happens. He grabbed the ball wrong. He dropped it, whatever. And then this one, he slipped, right? He put, everyone's been there. I played soccer when I was growing up. You plant your foot and then your foot just slides out from under you. I get it. I understand that happens, but consistency is key. If you're consistently making mistakes, that's a problem, and right now Braden Mann is. Outside of that, he had a great game, 2 incredibly good punts, 2 punts in the 20, back in the 20-yard line, behind the 20-yard line, I'm sorry. So absolutely a fantastic game outside of that 1 punt, but that did give Buffalo an incredible field position, and if Jordan Whitehead doesn't get that interception in the red zone there, we're talking about a different game, truthfully and honestly. But now let's go on to the ugly thing, and I just mentioned him. It has to be Jordan Whitehead dropping that interception in the fourth quarter. That would have sealed the game right there, and you just got to bring those in, man. He threw the ball right at you. You got to do that. That was absolutely atrocious. My heart fell to the floor. I was like, no, we could have ended it. Why? We ended up winning in the end anyway, but that was absolutely atrocious from Jordan Whitehead. It's lucky he had the interception earlier in the game and some absolutely massive hits throughout the game. Jordan Whitehead had himself a fantastic game. 4 tackles, 3 solo tackles, an interception, but 2 passes defended, actually, credited to him, an interception. A great day for Jordan Whitehead, except for that boneheaded, super atrocious play. And then the other one has to be the NFL, man. The NFL and CBS, they're like, first, we're going to talk about Skygate. The camera falls, absolutely icing out the New York Jets. That's absolutely that. I'm going to quote Robert Saleh here. It only ever happens to the Jets. That's absolutely insane that something like that happens in a multi-million-dollar production in a billion-dollar league. This is insane that something like that happens. And then again, with the absolutely atrocious NFL officiating against the New York Jets. I'm going to keep talking about it until it gets better. The officiating this year has been by far and away the worst we've ever seen in any NFL season I've ever seen, ever. It's that bad. It's just atrocious. I don't like what we're seeing from the officials. The New York Jets aren't just winning against the opponent on the field. They have to face whoever's lined up on the other side of them and the Zebras. It's absolutely insane. Get your crap together, NFL. This is unacceptable. Now let's end the video on 2 great notes. The first one for me has to be Mike LaFleur. I think Mike LaFleur called an almost flawless game. Every aspect of every decision that he made in the passing game, in the running game, and how he executed this offense was flawless, in my opinion. In the end, that last drive to run the ball down their throats and put put the onus on the offensive line's back, who was at that point having an incredibly good day, and a running game that was effective, and to tell Buffalo's defense, you know what? You guys are one of the better run defenses in the NFL, but you know what? We're one of the better run teams in the NFL. We're going to go strength versus strength, and we're going to dare you to stop us. And in the end there, you know, in that third down call, I loved the RPO call because you either get a touchdown or you get a field goal. Either way, you never intercept or drop the ball or nothing. It is a beautiful, beautiful, safe play call that gets you a win, especially when you take into consideration that your defense is playing lights out. You put the onus, you take the pressure off of the offense, and you say, you know what? We're in the red zone. The RPOs have been successful. If the read for the pass is open, you're going to toss it there. We have a touchdown. If not, you saw it. Zach Wilson didn't see the read. The guy was covered, grabbed the ball. He tucks it in. He takes it down and gets sacked, and boom, we kick the field goal, and then we go up and end and win the game, get into victory formation. Guys, that's the first thing I love what I saw from Mike LaFleur. Smart, efficient, protective football, limiting mistakes. And then the second great thing has to be the entire defensive staff, coaches, everything. Guys, at the beginning of this year, like after 3 weeks, we were calling for Jeff Ulbricht's head. I made a video talking about coaches not named Jeff Ulbrich on the hot seat. I put the DBs coach on there. I put White Cotton out there. I put the linebackers coach on there. I put all of these guys on the hot seat, and they have all come up and shut me up. Those guys have receipts on me because I asked for their jobs. I said, if they don't turn this thing around, we might be talking about firing these guys, and they turned the ship around. The New York Jets have one of the best defenses in the league. According to Connor Hughes, we have the best defense in the NFL, and I have a hard time arguing that point. You're going to find a really, really hard time to me say, you know what, this defense is better or that defense is better, because honestly, we have absolute murderers up and down the defensive lineup at every position. Quinnen Williams on the D-line, JFM, Carl Lawson, JJ with a sack today in his first game back. Absolute murderers up across it. And I know Sheldon Rankins, Nathan Shepard even looked good today. Like, is Michael Clemens, Michael Thomas, I'm forgetting people on the D-line. Absolute murderers row there. Then you look at the DBs. Sauce is by far and away, I think, the best cornerback in the NFL. I don't even think it's close. And then DJ Reed is playing as a top 5, top 10 cornerback in this league, which is absolutely insane. There is a good to fair chance that when the Pro Bowl comes, the two of the Pro Bowl AFC corners are going to have to be Sauce and DJ. They are that good that you might have to just have the same corners from the same team. That's how by far and away they are than everybody else. And then you go to the safeties. Jordan Whitehead is playing lights out. LaMarcus Joyner, who we all were ready to punt to the moon, guys. We were ready to destroy this kid, fire this guy. We know no one wanted him. Cut him now. Let's just play Tony. He's playing himself into a position to where we might need to bring him back next year, but that's a video for later. CJ Mosley, Quan Alexander, Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood. I'm forgetting someone. I can't remember who I'm missing in the linebacker room, but like the linebacker room, again, just another room where we're playing exceptionally well. We're playing so good on the defense that it's hard to look at this team and not say that playoffs are the expectation, especially with the back half of our roster. Guys, let me know in the comment section below. You're too great, too good, too bad, too ugly, all of that stuff. Let me know. And last but not least, go Jets.